Hi guys, welcome to today's episode of Trade of the Day. Now, for today's pair, I want to very quickly run through the pound yen. As you know, there are quite a number of up and coming news announcements coming up from the UK. At the same time, the yen is a safe haven, and we want to watch how the pound actually performs against the backdrop of a safe haven given the current scenario. Now, normally I like to start with a top down approach. That means starting with the monthly, working my way down to the weekly, to the daily, and then refining my strategy on the 4 hour and even the 1 hour. However, what we have here on the monthly is sort of a huge sharp A shape, which isn't much to tell us what the pound yen is going to do. Now, in technical analysis, we want to focus on the current prices, and always, while we know that the past is important, is the current prices that tells us whether prices will go up or prices will go down. So in this scenario, even on the weekly, we see that price sort of made a strong rejection above this supports here. So let's just go down to the daily and find out what we can figure out. Now on the daily, clearly what we want to look for is the daily resistance and daily support. As pointed out on the weekly, this is a historical low, which is a key graphical support on the weekly, and so we should factor this in as well on the daily. So let's just call this the daily support because it's the recent swing low. And we also see that price made sort of a push down and then a bounce, and we want to see how far price can go down. This is a zigzag, so let's use the extension tool. We take from the first point here to the second point here, and then to the third point here. And we see that price is actually quite close to the 61.8 extension. So this is actually sort of a zone. And for the daily resistance, price made sort of a swing high around the top before coming back down. We can use that level as our daily resistance. Now we see the price push down strongly. We want to see whether this resistance falls in line with any Fibonacci retracement ratio. So let's take a retracement from the swing high here to the low and open up all Fibonacci ratios. And we see that this level is closer to the 50% than the key 61.8. So let's just select the 50% retracement. And let me draw a zone around this area. And I'll call this level, give me a moment. I'll call this level the daily resistance. Now the bias that I have is actually for price to make a push up towards the daily resistance and then come back down towards the daily support. Okay, so how far down can price go? Let's go down to the 4 hour to find out. Now on the 4 hour, this is what we have. We see that price sort of drifted down low here before rebounding. So we want to see that if this is a zigzag, we want to see how far price can go down. For zigzags, we take extensions. First point, second point, and the third point. And we open up all Fibonacci ratios. And we see that the key levels, the 61.8 here and the 1 time here. So let's just leave those two levels and then we take a retracement to see where these levels line up with. Right, we can take a retracement from the swing low here to the high, open up all Fibonacci ratios, and we see that the two key extensions on a smaller time frame here lines up with the 38 and the 50%. I'm more inclined to take the 100 times because for zigzag it should at least go to 100, and secondly this price sort of made a graphical rejection of this level. I'll just highlight these two levels, the 50% and the 100%. So I'll put my 4-hour support here, and I'll use this as an intermediate support because a dotted line, because this intermediate support is not very clear, but let me just draw it nicely. I'll call this the intermediate support. Now how this works is that I expect price to push down to this support, show a small reaction, and then continue its way down to the final target, the daily support. So where's the best place to enter? I'll take a retracement of this down move where price drifted lower and look for a graphical level. I see a sort of a graphical level here. So this level here will be my sell entry, with my daily resistance sort of as a stop loss. All right, so there's an intermediate support, which is my first take profit, and there's a daily support, which is my second take profit. Now I expect price to go down here. When price reaches the intermediate support, I'll close out at least 25 to 50% of my position, lock in the profits, and then I'll let the remaining positions run to my final target. All right, so that's all we have for the trade of today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next week. Have a great weekend ahead.